Yo, what's up, guys? So in this video, I interview Kyle from Easy Pub Profits. Make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up, and let's get into the content. Yo, what's up, guys? What's going on? I have Kyle from Easy Pub Profits here. What's up, Kyle? What's going on?
What's up? Not much. Just hanging out, being here.
Awesome, man. We've been kind of like chatting a little bit in the back end and working together a little bit and trying to just go, we can go over ideas and stuff for KDP and stuff like that. Kind of tell us your story. How you got into KDP. What you know what I mean? What's the backstory on that?
Yeah, so I'm a little bit more recent than some. I know some people have been doing it for years. They got in early, been doing it for a while. I started back in March, April 2020. What happened? I was working for a company. I was working for this company, VF. They own a bunch of clothing brands like Vans, The North Face, Lee, Wrangler, all those brands. Yeah. But I worked in innovation, and so of course, when the pandemic hit, those were the first people to go. So I lost my job in March, and I was looking for online things to do to make money on the side because I also had a baby in January. So I'm also officially a stay-at-home dad. So I needed something I could do online part-time to make some money. And in the past, I had built websites, like niche websites. I don't know if any of your followers have ever been into that, but it was something I was into a little bit. But I never made very much money at it. And it takes a lot of time. It can take almost a year if you're doing advertising or if you're doing affiliate marketing before a niche website can make any money. I'd always been interested in book publishing. I was doing some research on what you could call high content book publishing. I don't like where you write a book or you have someone ghostwrite it and you do it, just like a regular book.
Yeah.
And then when I was researching that, I came across low content books. It's not something that I even knew about before March of last year. And I got really interested in it, and it just just kind of became my side hustle.
Yeah.
And then, I started joining Facebook groups, following, just like everyone, following YouTube, connecting to different people. And around June, July, I connected to this guy, Fizz, who at the time was running this guide, the Easy Pub Profits Guide. He's incredible. He's a 6-figure seller. He taught me a lot. And I started working with him on the guide, and then I eventually took it over at the end of last year, and now this year I'm doing the guide, and he still gives feedback. But so that's how I got into it. Yeah.
Awesome, man. And just also too, it's everything's a learning experience. As you start to even grow, you still learn. Like, you know what I mean? It's like It's crazy. We all learn from each other, and that I've been learning from you, and hopefully you've been learning from me as we kind of talk in the back end, because I think this is really just because you grow and you know a lot doesn't mean you can't go back and still learn the basics. I think the basics are actually what help you get to that point. And then you realize that you get to that point, it's like a rinse and repeat process to get even higher and higher, you know what I mean? To grow even more, right? So it's crazy how all that works.
Yeah, and I kind of think back when I was in college and if you were taking an advanced math class or something and you didn't understand it, the guy you wanted to tutor you was the guy that was in your class or had just taken it and really knew the material. Not someone who maybe did it 3 years ago and maybe they're your professor probably knows the material, but he couldn't teach it for crap. But the guy who just learned it really well could teach it. I always found that to be the case sometimes. Yeah.
No, man, that's really cool. No, so all right, when it comes to, because you said high content, because there's no damn way I'm not writing no 300-page book. It would just be horrible. Probably have a 1-star review, half a star, 1 star of whatever you call it. It would do horrible. So there's no way I'm doing that. So what got you in the high content book? What motivated you to do that?
I mean, I never actually did it. It was something I was always interested in. And so I just started researching. And when I was researching that's when I found out about low content. And I thought, well, maybe I'll start here first, learn about publishing in general. Just get some books out. But then I discovered I really like it. And I kind of I consider it kind of medium content where you have some stuff in there, but it's not, a full book. It's not a novel or anything like that.
Oh, interesting. So. Okay. All right. I thought you did that, but no, it's, I think that's really cool because it's just you see the opportunity, but then you see something else and you're like, okay, cool. I can relate to more of this right here. And, I think that's really cool. All right, so now when it comes to the low content stuff, what's your favorite part about low content books?
I think the creativity. You get to be really creative. Like if you're just doing POD shirts or mugs or whatever, you make a design and you can be creative, and that's fun. But
Mm-hmm.
then once you make the design, that's really it.
Mm-hmm.
With books, you make the design on the cover, and then you do the interior, and you can do so
Yeah.
many different kinds of books and interiors. You really can never run out of things you can make. So I like the amount
Yeah.
of creativity that you get to have with that.
Okay, yeah, no, it's I think as you like you start to learn these niches and stuff like that and you start to like dive in more, you realize that dude, like this one niche, you can make a ton of money if you just
Right,
learn the niche because literally you can make a part 2 to your book, a part 3, you know what I
right,
mean? And then there's other people in that niche that you don't even know about, right?
right,
Because I don't know, just like let's say I don't know, uh, dieting, right? There's like different types of dieting, right? Like
right.
intermediate fasting and stuff like that, and so on. Keto, right? And you can, the list goes
Right.
on. So I think
I,
it's really cool.
I'll give you an example. In December, I discovered that people were doing calendars with KDP,
Okay.
which normally you wouldn't think makes sense because KDP books are perfectly bound. They're bound, like a regular book. And
Mm-hmm.
calendars are usually bound with wire or something so it can lay flat.
Mm-hmm.
But a calendar only has 26 pages,
Yeah.
which you can do with KDP. And even with perfect binding, 26 pages, it lays pretty flat. And I have some that I've made at my house, and you can pin it to the wall and it'll stay there.
Yeah.
So I gave that idea, like, why try making a calendar in our Facebook group.
Yeah.
And one of the people in the Facebook group tried it, and she reached out and said it's her best selling book, her first 5-star review, and she got like a #1 new release badge. She's just like, I never thought I could do a calendar. So just coming up with things like that, I never thought so either. But you try it and it works out.
Dang, that's crazy. And I've seen that talked about in the Facebook group too as well. And
Yeah,
I think that's really cool because and I've seen that she was really excited, and I
yeah,
think
she was. Yeah,
that's really awesome, right? To kind of like throw out an idea and then you help someone else, and then next thing you know, it's their bestseller, and then
right,
like
right,
literally at that point, you're paying the water bill and you help them. You know what I mean? Help
yeah,
them
right,
put food on the table. So it's a good feeling when you're actually helping the community and trying to help people understand like what's going on in this niche or a new idea, like you just said, because it can change someone's life, and I think that's really cool.
right.
So when it comes to KDP, when it comes to low content books, what's the biggest struggle that you have faced yourself personally when it comes to? I know it's kind of like a little bit more of a challenging question, but like, what's the biggest issue that you have had so far? And this can help somebody. You know what I mean? You never know. Like this question right here can help somebody. What do you think it comes when it comes to that? What's the biggest struggle?
So I've had two issues. One, in getting started, is something that I always struggle with. I think a lot of people do,
Uh huh.
and I call it analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
And that is spending too much time worrying about. So the guide that I work on, Easy with Profits, is all about keyword research. But I
Mm-hmm.
think when you're starting out, don't worry so much about keyword research. People get really involved, and then they'll spend a lot of time, and then your book will never come out.
Yeah.
So what I have to teach myself every day is that done is better than perfect. I still
Mm-hmm.
struggle with that. I really want to spend a lot of time trying to make things perfect, but at the end of the day, it's better to finish it than to try to make it perfect.
Yeah.
So I struggle with that. And the other thing, more specific, was cover design. I'm not a designer. I'm not particularly artistic. So, I did a few. I made my own covers. They're not great. And then once I started making some money, now I hire a lot of people to do design for me.
Yeah.
I take the money I'm making from my books, use that to hire designers.
Yeah.
And it's just because it would take me forever, and I don't think my designs are that good. So
Yeah.
learning what you're good at and what you're not good at, and when you make some money, you can take some of that money and use it to hire out the things that you're not good at or that you don't want to do.
Dude, Kyle, I'm a big fan of that right there, man. It just
Yeah,
I've done that in the very beginning. I was like, dude, I cannot design. Like I'll spend 4 hours trying to make this like the best design, and it will still look horrible. It's like
right, right,
the concept, the layout is all messed up. I'm just like now I'm like in a cluster kind of, yeah. I'm not gonna say the word, but I'm in a cluster, and I'm just like it's all mixed up, and I was like, this is horrible. So like I'm a big fan of like you know what I mean, like focus on what you're good at, right?
right,
And then if you can outsource the other part of it, do so. You know,
right.
because you can. And when you focus on what you're good at, and then it's so much funner for you to actually do things in the business, right?
And honestly, I think it's really fun to do. Like, I just had the crazy idea recently for Valentine's Day about these like animal related Valentines where they have funny it's like fun facts about animals that people don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm making Valentines out of them.
Uh huh.
But it's these crazy ideas that I'm sending to artists. Like, Like I want a cockroach that looks sultry on a lounge chair that's holding a glass of wine and it has some text or something like
Yeah.
that. And just giving that to an artist and seeing what they come back with it's a lot of fun. I don't know, doing that kind of thing.
Nah,
So
man, it is, man. I actually have a full-time illustrator on my team, right?
yeah,
And I talk to him pretty much, like 5 days a week, maybe seven times a week, or all week, sometimes every single day, because I'll send him my ideas over. But I just you just see the creativity behind it. It's like a big inspiration for you, and I feel like watching other people and how they do things and putting their creativity to the test. It makes me smile for some reason. I don't know why it does. Maybe I'm just weird, but it makes me smile, and I enjoy that type of stuff, man. It just like, dude, like you can see what he was thinking about, and then you kind of like, okay, this is exactly what he was thinking about, and you kind of learn how to read people by looking at their artwork,
right.
right? So, nah, no. So you talked about a little bit about keywords. Okay, this is my favorite thing in the world, by the way. Keywords, research, and stuff like that. So I get
Right.
excited over this stuff. So, what like keyword research? How important is it when it comes? You said not to spend a bunch of time on it. You said, but how important is it to have a good keyword research for your book to help your book rank on that front page and have the bestseller? Like you said, you actually had someone in your group, like you said, someone have a bestseller or a new release in their niche. How important is keyword research?
Yeah. So let me clarify. If you're just starting out, it's way more important to get books out
Mm-hmm.
than to focus on too much on keyword research.
Yeah.
Once you're in it and you know that you can do the books and you know that you can do the whole process, keyword research is really important
Yeah.
because I think what a lot of questions I get and a lot of people they keep putting out books and they're not too worried about keyword research, but at some point, their books they're not getting in front of people. They're not showing up on page one.
Mm-hmm.
And if your books don't get in front of people, no one's going to buy them. They're not going to have the opportunity to buy them. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where keyword research comes into play. It's really important to do a little bit of research and figure out what words, because there's different ways you can word things so that you show up on page one, even if it's the same content.
Yeah.
I can give you an example if you want that came up recently that I
Yeah.
was kind of surprised.
Yeah.
Um, so for January, I forget the months now, but recently it was like American Heart Month, and
Uh-huh.
so we were talking about blood pressure logs,
Yeah.
which I'm sure is something you've tried before. Or I
Yeah.
think you guys have some on
Yeah.
PixelPod.
Yeah.
But and if you search like blood pressure log, there's a bunch of results,
Mm-hmm.
and you can niche down. You do blood pressure log large print. You imagine people that need to log their blood pressure. Maybe they're a little older. Maybe they need larger print.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot fewer results. The thing that surprised me is if you do blood pressure log big print, there's like 100 results. There's like no competition. Everyone's, but it's getting searches. If you look on like a book bolt or use a tool to see what people are searching, it's getting as many searches as large print. It's just everyone that's making the books is only using the keyword large print.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, Amazon's algorithm treats those as separate keywords. It doesn't treat them as the same. So just by knowing that, all of a sudden I have the same book, a blood pressure log that has large print, but I'm using the word big print. And anyone that's searching for that, mine's going to show up because there's a lot less competition. So that's an example of just like doing a little bit of research. You have the same content, but now you have a much better chance of someone organically finding what you've made.
Interesting. And this is literally this is important because you literally just created less competition for yourself and helped yourself, like give yourself that opportunity to make that first sale in that niche. And then once you
Right.
make that first sale, you're ranking in the top. And you're working on the front page. Let's say just in general, you may
Right.
rank top 10, top 5, but just by doing that, you created less competition for yourself, and then you're leveraging that by creating less. You're creating less competition, but driving more traffic. More traffic, better chance of you making a sale.
Right. And so as you know, like the Amazon algorithm, basically there's keyword relevance is one factor for ranking.
Uh-huh.
Sales velocity and reviews are basically the main three factors.
Uh-huh.
So that's why sometimes you'll search and you'll get stuff that seems totally irrelevant to what you search, but those books have really high sales velocity and a lot of reviews. So Amazon's pushing them to the top because they figure people buy these books a lot.
Yeah.
But when you're just starting out, you want to be the most relevant book and you want to be relevant for search terms that don't get a lot of searches. Or at least
Yeah.
that's been my strategy and it's been working pretty well.
Yeah. No, for sure. And that's crazy. Like exactly how you put it. And obviously you wouldn't have learned that if you haven't been testing, like, trying to
Right.
not mess with the algorithm, but learn how the algorithm puts products up closer to that front page or number one or number two, you know what I mean?
Right.
In a search result. So I think that's very important. And a lot of people overlook this. It does, like, it's a different mindset. It's a different language. I like to tell people this. I was like, keywords are the king when it comes to online sales. And then the design is the queen. And they're like, what? I'm just like, exactly what I said. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not lying to you. Like, my horrible design will make sales because the keywords are so good. And people
Right.
don't, like, some people don't understand that. And I'm seeing people and I'm saying this because people will like send me messages like, hey, check this out. I'm just like, dude, the keywords are wrong. Like, I'm not being mean to you. I just want to teach you the right way and show you how it's done. And that way you make more
Right.
sales and be like, hey, RJ told me this. Kyle told me this. You know what I mean? So that's just the way it is. So, man, it's crazy. Now, like the long tail keywords, right? Because people
Yeah.
get confused about this a little bit too, as well, I believe. When it comes to long tail keywords, you kind of explained it already. But what's the definition of like a long tail keyword in your opinion?
Right. Yeah. So I mentioned before that before I got into KDP, I was building niche websites.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're doing that, it's all about targeting long tail keywords, which are basically people type crazy stuff into search engines. They're super specific with what they're looking for. And and the long tail keyword is those specific things.
Yeah.
Now, what it actually means, people think it means it's just a longer search, but that's not necessarily what it means. It just means the things that are really specific that aren't
Mm-hmm.
getting as many searches, but also have higher conversion. Like if you search for something super specific and you find a result that exactly matches that, you're probably psyched. You're like, yeah, I'm going to click on this, and if I'm looking to buy, then I'm going to buy this because it's exactly what I'm looking for. So the more specific you get, that's when you get longer tail keywords. So the example we had was blood pressure log. That's pretty broad.
Mm-hmm.
Blood pressure log, large print. That's longer tail, right? That's more specific. Blood pressure log, large print, for elderly person is
Mm-hmm.
even more specific. And if I'm that person looking for it, then that's the one I want to buy instead of one that's just a blood pressure log, right? So
Yeah.
that's the idea. There's less people searching for the more specific searches, but they have higher conversion because it exactly matches what someone's looking for.
Yeah. And also, too, the only reason that you know this type of stuff is because you're actually doing it, right?
Right. Right.
See,
Right.
I just like, because I find that very interesting because it's like, no, like, what are you talking about? Like, like you have to actually be doing it to understand what you're talking about when it comes to like keywords and ranking and all that stuff and the
Right.
algorithm. No, I think that's really awesome. I love it. So, by the way, guys, those like the tips and tricks that he just shared with you right there, you can literally take that and go make money with KDP, right? Of course, you got to learn how to like publish your book, the process and the dimensions and the cover size and title and subtitle
Right.
and all that stuff. But all that, the information that he just, that's golden. Like, I apply that to this day. It's golden right there. That's what makes you money. That applies to any platform. Okay. It's not just
I will
KDP.
say one thing that I learned that's different. So Google and Amazon are probably the two biggest search engines in the world. I mean, Amazon is essentially a search engine.
Uh-huh.
But I learned this. They're very different actually, because Google's main goal is to figure out what you want to find and give that to you. That's
Mm-hmm.
Google's, and then also give you ads.
Mm-hmm.
But the main goal is to figure out your search intent and give that to you. Amazon's main goal is to make money, and those things, oftentimes, the things that make money aren't necessarily the things that exactly match your search intent. So
Yeah.
understanding that subtle difference. That's why on Google, large print, big print, that means the same thing. Google's giving me the same results because my search intent is the same with both those words. For some reason, Amazon's algorithm determines that large print and big print sell differently, so it's giving me different results. So
Yeah.
that's a big. In a way, it's almost can be easier to hack the Amazon algorithm because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think also just adding to that, it's like, what's the platform's goal, right?
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's big. Like over Google or YouTube or Amazon, right? Selling on Amazon. I think that's just what's their goal. And if you understand their goal and give the algorithm what it wants, it's a win-win situation.
Right.
So, all right, tell us about Easy Pub profits.
Sure. Yeah. So we would talk about keyword research.
What you got? What you got for me, man? What you got?
So Easy Pub profits, as I mentioned, it was a guide that existed before I came on. I joined it.
Yeah.
It was It was started by a woman named Stacy a couple years ago, and then I mentioned this seller Fizz, who's a six-figure seller, took it over and really ran with it, and he did great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's basically it's a monthly guide. It comes out once a month. It's a strategy guide for KDP publishers, and the goal of the guide is to give publishers enough ideas to publish just one book per day. That's the overarching goal. The idea is we stress quality over quantity. A lot of people they'll try to do a bunch of books a day, you know, with auto uploaders and things like that. But we stress just if you can do just one book a day, and it's a quality book, then you're doing pretty good. A lot of the sellers I know, they make most of their money from only a few books. So you still need to put enough to do that, but
yeah. I also used to upload like a ton of books at one point, and then I just figured out, I was like, dude, this is not the way. I already know it's not the way. I feel it. Like the algorithm's like pissed off at me right now, so I gotta stop doing this.
Well, and it can work. You can make money doing that, but it's not a long-term strategy. It won't last.
Yeah.
And so the guide basically we basically give keyword ideas, book ideas, niche ideas based around upcoming holidays and events. And it used to be 1 month in advance, but I just switched it, so now that it's 2 months in advance. So for example, the February guide will come out on February 1st, and it'll give you specific ideas for holidays in April. So you have enough time to work through those and get them uploaded to KDP before April comes up.
Yeah.
And to give you an idea, like, so some of the things in April, it's National Gardening Month. It's opening day for Major League Baseball. There's Autism Awareness Day, Chinese Language Day, 420 Day. All these things you can make niche, low content books about. And in each guide, we try to go through about 15 specific dates, like in detail, where we give like a keywords table and specific ideas. And then we'll list all the dates at the end if you want to go and do your own research on some of these dates. And then,
no,
go
you're
ahead.
good. You're good. So it's like more of a, like these niches are more like there's a demand in these niches, right? And you can like buy the holidays and stuff like that. I don't want to miss that part. Sorry for kind of cutting.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. So the basic idea is because these are upcoming things, it's something that people will probably be searching for. And a lot of them are evergreen, but you know, some of them like Easter is definitely seasonal.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is, so it gives you all those ideas, and then each guide also has an extra section that's like an in-depth overview of some particular topic that's relevant. So like how to do advertising on Amazon, or you know, an overview of an overview of long tail keywords, or how to make a coloring book or an activity book. So there's all this keyword research stuff in the beginning, and then the second half is some in-depth topic that you can read about, and that's it.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I think it's really cool because a lot of like when new people come in, they don't kind of understand what niches are and how powerful they are, and how if you understand like the niche, like how much money you can make, and next thing you know it, you have a #1 book on Amazon. It definitely sounds better than having a #1 T-shirt on Amazon for some reason. I've talked about this in the past too. It's like people ask, "What do you do for a living?" I sell T-shirts, and then they're like, "Oh, that's cool. I'm a published author on Amazon. How about that?" "Oh, you're so cool." I'm like, forget you. Get away from me.
Best-selling author, right?
Yeah.
That's all you need. You get a TED Talk now. You're a best-selling author on Amazon.
Yeah. Instagram bio, baby. I'm just kidding, bro. I'm just kidding. So, dude, thank you for a lot of this awesome information. Where can people find you at, Kyle?
You can go to easypubprofits.com, and you can that's it.
Okay. Yeah, no. So I'll put all that information down below in the description, guys. If you guys got any value out of this, make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up. Right, Kyle? Come on. Tell me to give a thumbs up. All right. Hey, I just want to tell you thank you very much for taking the time out of your day. And
yeah.
I'm sorry I was 5 minutes late. My bad. And thank you.
Thanks, RJ.
Peace out, guys.
Take it easy.